We can now bring in Tommaso Della Longa, spokesperson at the International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. Thank you very much for joining us here on France 24. What are you hearing from your teams on the ground?
Thanks for having me today. Well, the situation, as you correctly pointed out, your colleague in the piece, it's doomsday. It's really desperate. The scale of devastation is enormous. And of course, the situation in the field is really dramatic. We are talking about a huge amount of needs and priorities like health, food, water, shelter. And most importantly, we're talking about thousands of families that they don't have anymore anything. So it's not only a matter of what happened now in the next few days, but in the months to come.
And is aid reaching the areas in the east that need it most?
Yeah, the situation, as I said, is complex. The main problem is infrastructure, as we can see from your footage, are not anymore there. So there is an issue of access. But then the good news is that, on our side, the Libyan Red Crescent teams were already there. They're part of the community. They are in Derna. Of course, we lead with their capacity. And then we saw that also yesterday and today, other teams are arriving. For instance, the Turkish Red Crescent teams, in our case, landed yesterday. They are in the area affected by the flooding.
Are authorities cooperating? Because over in the east, the government there is not internationally recognized. So are they accepting and welcoming foreign aid?
Well, in our case, fortunately, I would say, before this immense disaster, the Libyan Red Crescent teams were well accepted and had access in every part of the country. So, of course, we are working as usual together with them. So in our case, we can say that, yes, the coordination with authorities is going ahead.
You spoke about some of the initial needs, but in the short term, what is going to be the most pressing needs for families that are trying to rebuild, given that we have some 30,000 people who have been displaced by these floods?
Well, most urgent need is shelter. So we need to find places. At the moment, we know that schools and public buildings were open for displaced people, but then we will, this is just a temporary accommodation. We need to find out and work together with local authorities where people can stay in safety. But then food, water, and also all the health needs. You have to, what we are calling sometimes the disaster inside the disaster. We need to prevent any possible outbreak. We need to prevent any possible problem that can happen in the next coming days.
And what are you hearing when it comes to the water receding? Because if the water stays and remains stagnant, there's the risk of waterborne diseases, isn't there?
Yeah, the footage are pretty clear, and also the stories of our Libyan Red Crescent volunteers are clear. Water is there, will recede, but then the main problem at the moment is where people are, and also when people can come back, also in the areas not affected, because there are areas nearby, let's say the neighbors of Derna that are destroyed, that of course are not safe for people. So I think that it will take time also in terms of analysis and assessment where the infrastructure are not anymore there. There is, again, an access issue. So then we will have a clearer picture and a clearer idea of needs on the ground in the next coming hours and probably days.
Tommaso, the Italians have sent aid. The European Union said it's sending aid. We have various states that have sent aid and pledged aid to Libya. But who is leading the aid effort? Is it the government that is not internationally recognized?
Well, typically, authorities are working on the coordination of aid. In our case, again, we are working as in any other country through our national society, so through the Libyan Red Crescent. Today, we launched, for example, an emergency appeal of 10 million Swiss francs, let's say $10 million, to cover the immediate needs of people in Libya, and this money will be spent hand in hand with the Libyan Red Crescent.
Tommaso, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us on the program today. Tommaso Della Longa there.